Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This story is very much based on true life story, though I have altered the story and have changed the names of characters and places. Regardless if the names mentioned in this story matches to anybody in real life, it is absolutely coincidental. Now let's get started with the story. Jessica Palmer was 9 years old when she discovered her interest in photography. Her dad had gifted her a Polaroid camera on her 8th birthday. She was not pleased. She thought it was a funny looking pink box with a black hole. She liked her mom's gift though. It was a whole kitchen set with Barbie doll. Her dad wanted her to get out of the doll world and learn something new. He shook his head in disapproval when he saw his wife's gift for his daughter. His wife always told him that she was very young and it is her age to play with dolls and that she will eventually give it up as she gets older. He only huffed at that. Jessica was frowning at her Polaroid camera, but her face lit up when she saw what her mom was giving her. She chucked the camera on a nearby sofa and forgot about it. It remained forgotten for at least a year and a half or so. Later next year, her family decided to go on a family vacation to Hawaii. They took up a room at a hotel which was closer to ocean. Once Jessica hit the beach, she was ecstatic. She wanted it to stay with her forever, but she didn't know what to do about that. And that's when it hit her that her dad had gifted her a camera, but she didn't get that along with her, unfortunately. When they got back home from vacation, she ran to her room in search of the camera. It took her almost a day, but she found the camera with her mom's help. Ever since, the camera never left her side. She would take pictures of everything she thought she found adorable. It could be a stray kitten, it could be a flower on the sidewalk, it could be a trash can with graffiti, everything. She took pictures of anything and everything. Her dad was pleased. She was finally coming around wearing her big girl pants, or so he thought. She soon at the age of 21 took up a photography course. She was very good at it. She found a job as a waitress in a nearby well-known restaurant. Both her parents were proud of the woman she became. She was calm, collected, responsible, and she also kept track of her bills. The restaurant manager, Chad Murray, an elderly man, was also fond of her. She was excelling at this waitress job. He soon expressed his interest in her. At first, she was reluctant, but she gradually fell for him as well. They started dating and their relationship was very stable. When her parents found out, they weren't really happy of their relationship, but they soon saw that their daughter was much better a person when she was with him. He kind of kept her grounded. They eventually started liking him. Chad had a 12-year-old son from his previous marriage. She had grown close to his son as well. She even spent time with Chad's sister and would often go shopping together. Chad and Jessica bought a house together. She soon started working 2 jobs and she became a photographer. During her relationship with Chad, she had forgotten how much she enjoyed it. She started focusing on her photography career even more. The relationship continued for at least 3 years. Soon the burden of working 2 jobs and maintaining a relationship was catching up to her. So she quit her waitress job and continued with photography. It was then at a work conference where she met Thomas Moore. Thomas Moore didn't really have a normal childhood like most children. He was often ignored or abused by his parents. At the age of 12, he went to live with his grandparents who at the time were taking care of other kids too. They couldn't really provide with him all his needs, though they did see that his education was well covered. Other than that, his grandparents were strict but not overly so. They believed in religion and would often go to church. They believed that any intimacy of a relationship should only happen after the couple had been wed, so Thomas was raised as such. Thomas would visit church as well and had made many friends from church. He grew up continuing with these practices and became an insurance salesman for a company. He only got into relationship when he thought he could see a promising future with a girl. He would never get into any kind of physical relationship with any of his partners. When Jessica and Thomas met, it sparked something in them. They immediately hit it off. Within just few days, they were already into one another. Chad could see she was acting different already. Thomas introduced Jessica to his religion, and she readily agreed. She just fell in love with Thomas and did everything that would please him. Slowly, Jessica started distancing herself from Chad, and they ultimately broke up. Jessica spent most of her time with Thomas, and when not together, she spent most of her time thinking about him. Both of them ultimately got very intimate with each other. Even though Thomas had said he kept those things only for after marriage, Jessica soon found out he wasn't a sweet virgin boy after all. He was very much sexually active, but just wasn't open about it as his grandparents wouldn't approve of it, though some of his close friends already knew. Thomas wanted to keep his relationship with Jessica a secret. Only some of his friends knew, but to the world, they were really just good, close friends. Jessica and Thomas would often go together on work-related trips. Any chance they had to be together, they took it. Jessica would often snap pictures of him, and she would also snap intimate pictures of each other as well. As days went by, Jessica became increasingly obsessed with Thomas. Thomas's friends didn't really think much of her at the beginning, but now they didn't really like her. They started noticing that wherever Thomas goes, Jessica goes. Every friends gathering that Thomas was invited to, Jessica was present as well. And not just that. They could see that Jessica would get visibly upset and frustrated if any female friends of Thomas approached him. She made sure she was always seated beside Thomas and no other girl was anywhere near him. As days went by, Thomas started to notice it as well and was kind of getting suffocated and frustrated. He suggested to Jessica that they should take a break. Jessica was not happy, but she agreed. However, Jessica's break was a whole lot different from Thomas's break. Now that she couldn't really be with him, she started stalking him. And Thomas, on the other hand, just started seeing some other girl named Becky. Every time Thomas went to visit Becky, he would find his car tires slashed. Even though they were on a break, Jessica would sometimes still visit Thomas, as he would sometimes call her whenever he would get the sudden urge to be with her. He thought it was only Jessica who knew exactly what he wanted and how he wanted. But he, however, did not see a future with her. He would just want her for now, but not tomorrow. Soon the relationship was just on and off, and Thomas would only want Jessica when he would get the itch. Jessica didn't mind as long as she could keep him, and she was gonna keep him. But one day, Jessica found out that Thomas was planning a trip to another city with Becky and not her. Jessica lost it. That's when she knew what he was actually doing. She went to Thomas's friend's house to confirm if it was true, and his friend confirmed. Jessica got into her car and she drove to Thomas's house. When she reached there, she found herself weirdly calm. She knocked on the door and Thomas answered. He smiled a smile that would always get Jessica. He caught her by the waist and pulled her in, locking the door behind her. He directly led her to his washroom and they both started to get undressed. He got into the shower with Jessica and was taking his sweet time with her when Jessica said she wanted to take pictures of him in the shower. She quickly got the camera and started clicking away. She giggled, smiled, teased him all the while taking pictures. And then she suddenly stood there staring at him like she's never seen him before. Out of nowhere, she whips out a knife and stabs Thomas on his back. Thomas did not see this coming. He screamed in pain and fell on the wet floor. She then continued stabbing him repeatedly. Thomas in pain, shouting and asking her to stop, but she didn't. He was motionless but was still alive. He didn't have much left in him when he tried to extend his hand to something, and that's when Jessica whips out the gun and shoots him in the head. Thomas is dead. She drops both the gun and the knife on the floor and is so shaken up that she just fled out of there without a second thought. After a few days, when Thomas's friends did not hear anything from Thomas, they went to see his house to check upon him, and that's where they found him dead. They immediately called the police. His friends were all shocked and very upset over his death. One of the friends told the police that he was sure it was Jessica who killed him, as she had visited him before going over to Thomas's house. The police took in Jessica for questioning. When asked, she said she wasn't there at the time of the crime. The police later said that they found her DNA and fingerprints on the weapons, and also they found the camera that apparently took pics of her in the action of committing the murder. Jessica at that point didn't really have much to say, and so she goes on to say that she killed him in self-defense. Again, the police or the court didn't believe her because the crime scene said otherwise. All the evidence were pointing at her. Besides, Thomas's friends spilled all the tea on how Jessica was obsessed, and at some point they had warned Thomas of how Jessica could be his death, but he brushed it off. Jessica was finally sentenced to life imprisonment without a parole. The very things that she was obsessed of had entered her life, both Thomas and her camera.